So, good morning, students. Let's continue with software testing. So, in the previous lecture, we have seen the myths and facts and the basics of testing. Now, starting with goals of software testing. So, what do you mean by software testing? What is the basic objective behind that? Why do we perform testing? What is the aim for testing, or you can say what is the goals of software testing. They mean the same thing, but this should be clear why exactly we are focusing so much on software testing, what are the benefits in turn it is going to provide us, right? So normally we say the software testing is simply making our software error free, and to some extent we also say it must satisfy the user's requirement. If these two things happen, we say okay, it's a quality product. But we know that there are more things which can be considered as a part of testing, and that must be rigorously fulfilled or adhered to in your software. So we are going to understand this goals or objective of testing in a much detailed way now. We have divided them basically into three categories. The first category we call it as immediate goals, or you can say short term goals. The one like we perform the testing, basic aim would be to make it error free. That is short term goal. Right? So errors will be minimized. Long term goal. Long term goal is something for a longer run. Right? For example, we want a quality product. It must be error free. It must fulfill all the user's requirement. In turn, it must satisfy all the characteristics of the system so that we can consider this to be a quality product. It has an additional advantage on other products of similar kind. Right? Third one is a post implementation goal. See, it does not limit ourselves to quality. Okay, you have once achieved a quality product and your work is done. No. Post implementation goals is okay, it is a quality product and you have deployed it, customer has started using it, but still you are supposed to produce or enhance your system. Improvement is definitely required, like you have seen normally say WhatsApp or what where the patches used to come in. Why? It is enhancing the system. Once it is deployed, even then they are working on maintaining it. So that is post implementation goal, which includes, you can say, the maintenance cost can be reduced with the help of testing, or it can be the improvement of the process. So we'll see one by one what are the things that are considered in these three categories. So starting with the first one, that is immediate goal. So immediate goal is bug discovery and bug prevention. So it is something related to individual phases actually, that we must try to identify or discover errors nearer to the point of introduction or in the individual phase itself. While bug prevention says, okay, once you have identified an error, so while you are coding next time, you will take care that, okay, this was the mistake I have created earlier, so I must not do it again. So that is a sort of prevention mechanism, because you know that this action of yours may lead to error. So that is immediate or short term goal, bug prevention and bug discovery. While long term goal is mainly it is quality, and if it is quality, it leads to customer satisfaction. But what leads to quality actually? Quality is determined by the function, you can say the characteristics of the software. Like if it is a banking software, we want this to be reliable in nature. If it is library automation system, we'll say availability. Or it is like service providers, like mobile service providers, Airtel, Reliance, BSNL. So which one is more available? Definitely, if you compare it with BSNL, Airtel and Reliance would be better, I guess, right? So this is what the characteristics, depending upon the type of software we identify. The basic characteristic is reliability actually, how much reliable your software is, how much you can trust on that software that it is going to function properly. Right? So reliability, that leads to quality. If it is a quality product, customer will be more satisfied. And risk management is, now and then you encounter different risk situations, you must properly manage or deal with those risks so that your outcome is better. So we'll see to it in detail in the next slides. Then post implementation goal is reduced maintenance goal. That means you thoroughly test the software while it is in the testing phase or while it is in the development phase in the form of verification, so that while you are performing the testing, it takes less effort, time and cost actually. So maintenance cost basically depends upon how well you have coded it, how well you have tested it. If that is done properly during the development and deployment, it will help us in maintenance. Then improve testing process, because there is no end. Once you achieve something like you can say in a class, say you scored 95%. So is it an end? No. Beyond that also, though you secured the first rank in the class with 95%, but there is a scope of improvement. You can go till 100 also. So it's not कि first rank आ गई है so it'll stop working. You have to improve yourself. If you achieve more higher thing, okay, you must be good at your institute or university, but you have to compete with the IITians or NIITians. If that also, you have to compete with the students from abroad. So there is no limit. You have to work upon improving yourself. Similarly, testing, we do have a process we have discussed earlier where we follow software testing life cycle. So different methodologies are there. We have to enhance those process so that better testing could be there. 100% never achievable, but still we try to improve it. So these are the basic goals of software testing. Let's see it one by one. So the short term of immediate goals are bug discovery and prevention. So what do you mean by bug discovery is the immediate goal of testing is to find errors at any stage of software development. That means any stage we mean is the phases. More the bugs discovered at an early stage, better will be the success rate of software testing, because if you are identifying the error nearer to the point of introduction or the early phases, it will not get propagated to the later phases, and if it gets propagated, you have to rework on everything. You have to retest all the previous phases that is being carried out, and ultimately more effort, time and cost will be required. So it's always better to identify error nearer to the point of introduction, you can say. Then bug prevention. It is a consequent action of bug discovery. From the behavior and the interpretation of the bug discovered, everyone in the software development team gets to learn how to code safely such that the bugs discovered should not be repeated in the later stages or in the future project. So that is a prevention mechanism. Though errors cannot be prevented to zero, they can be minimized. In this sense, bug prevention is a superior goal of testing. So okay, fine, bug is something which is very important. Your software must be error free, but yes, we can take more effort in preventing those errors in later stages or in the similar kind of projects that you are going to develop, that those bugs are not created actually. Then long term goals I have told you is reliability, risk management, quality and customer satisfaction. So there is a particular sequence actually. Software testing leads to reliability, reliability leads to quality, and quality in turns provides customer satisfaction, if you can see from the diagram. And this software testing is actually controlled by risk factors like cost, time, resources and critical features. So they are linked with each other. Testing, reliability, quality, customer satisfaction and risk management actually. So what do you mean by these factors? Now quality is what? The primary definition of quality is fitness of purpose. जिस चीज़ के लिए हमने वो बनाया है, अगर वो प्रॉपरली मीट आउट कर रहा है उन सारी रिक्वायरमेंट्स को, विल से इट इज़ अ क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट. बट fitness of purpose is a term which is basically applicable to the functional requirements only, but we do have non-functional requirements or the characteristics. For example, security, reliability, understandability, portability, usability, interoperability, traceability, scalability. So think of all the LET terms which are applicable to any system that will be prevalent here. So these are actually the characteristics or the non-functional requirements of your system, and they must be properly implemented. Then only we can say it's a quality product. So let's say we have taken few of the quality factor here as correctness, integrity, efficiency and many more. But we consider this reliability as a major factor to achieve quality. Right? What exactly is reliability? Let's take an example. We have so many friends, right? But we say we have just one good friend, maybe one or two, but ideally it is one, because he is reliable. I can rely on him, I can depend on him, or he is or she is trustworthy. So general definition means reliability means trustworthiness or on which you can depend upon. But as or with respect to software, you can say how you are going to define reliability is the probability of your software working properly with both respect, functional as well as non-functional. The probability of a software working properly for that duration of time for which it is meant for. For example, say for your section, we have allocated a time slot to access the library is Monday 1 to 2. Okay. So likewise, other sections also they will be allotted a particular time slot. Now since morning 9 am the software was working properly and students are able to carry out the functionalities relevant to library. But as soon as your turn came at 1 o'clock, the server goes down. It's not working properly now. That means students are not able to go ahead with searching or issue a return or issue of a book because there was certain technical problem. But rest of the time, say hardly for that 1 hour it was not working properly, for entire day it was working properly except that 1 to 2. So what is your perception about this library automation system? You will say it's not a reliable software because you're not able to carry out your features. But what does other students will say other than your section? Those functionalities was getting fulfilled. They'll say it's a reliable software. We want this only. It's working properly. All the requirements are getting fulfilled. So it's reliability is something you can say the probability. What is the likelihood it is going to work properly? It's not going to fail. It's going to provide all the services needed by a user. Right? So that is reliability. So reliability is something you can say the software should be passed through a rigorous reliability analysis to attain high quality standards. Right? Reliability is a matter of confidence that the software will not fail, and this level of confidence increases with rigorous testing. Jitna zyada like how much we carry out testing, the extent to which we carry out testing thoroughly and in depth, we go and identify all the you can say errors or the flaws present out there. You will make your system more reliable, and if it is reliable, customer satisfaction will increase definitely, right? So if it is there, so we'll say it is a quality product, right? And testing is something that leads to quality, we have discussed earlier also. Then customer satisfaction. From the user's perspective, the prime concern of testing is customer satisfaction only. Right? If you want a customer to be satisfied with the software product, then testing should be complete and thorough. Now see the contradictory term. We are saying testing must be complete and thoroughly done. And we also know that complete testing is never possible. Right? It must be effective. So what does this complete here means is it must satisfy the user for all the specified requirements mentioned in the user manual as well as for the unspecified requirements which are otherwise understood. Right? We have to fulfill all the requirements present in the SRS document. But yes, some requirements are which are not specifically written in the SRS document, but it is understood that it is a part of a system. You must implement those requirements also, like we say valid and invalid criteria. Valid criteria are written in the SRS, invalid criteria are never written, but yes, they need to be tested. So something are understood. A complete testing process achieves reliability. Reliability enhances the quality, and quality in turn increases the customer satisfaction. right? So what is most important thing is customer satisfaction. How well you code it, how well you tested it, lekin if customer is not satisfied with your product, he is never going to make a buying decision or use your software. Let's take an example. MS Office is something everyone uses, right? While our you can say mobiles, they just provide many such you can say softwares which helps in data processing, like OneNote and everything is there, but we rarely use those. We try ki MS Office must be there, we install it and then we try to use it because it's a quality product. It has all those features and functionalities that must a user requires, and it works well for that. So that is satisfaction, right? Then risk management. Now what do you mean by a risk? Simply, risk is, you can say, any event, circumstances or condition that hampers the successful completion of your project. right? रिस्क वो कंडीशन है जो आपके सॉफ्टवेयर को कंप्लीट नहीं होने दे रही है सक्सेसफुली. कंप्लीट हो रहा है लेकिन सक्सेसफुल नहीं है, या तो टाइम इंक्रीज हो रहा है और कॉस्ट इज गेटिंग इंक्रीज, और इट इज नॉट फुलफिलिंग ऑल द functional and non-functional requirements. Some other thing could be missing, or it may be delayed, or it may be cost overrun could be thing, right? So risk is the probability that undesirable events will occur in your system, right? So our aim is to deal with those risk conditions, right? For example, I'll discuss one risk is like manpower turnover problem. It has nothing to do with the functionality or the non-functional requirement. You have a team who is working on a project, and we know that it's a human tendency. We try to apply to another companies which is giving you better, you can say, salary, or you have a future benefit out there, right? You have a scope of better project which provides you on site. Right? So definitely we try to explore something more what we have, right? But what about the project or the company where you're working currently? If you're going to leave, what will happen? It is going to hamper the project which is going on there. So that is a risk for them, right? But you cannot control them. But what we can exactly do in that case? Manpower turnover problem will be there, but how you're going to deal it, right? This is what that is going to impact the quality or the customer satisfaction, or you can say testing is something relevant to that. Like if this is a manpower turnover is a major problem, so I'll say I'll assign the priority. I'll assign based on the severity and the impact that okay, this will definitely happen and it is going to hamper my project. So I'll assign priority 1 that I have to deal with the situation first, rather than other risk which has a minor impact or their probability is least, right? So if I'm assigning this priority 1 that this has to be focused upon and eliminated first, so I'll design certain mechanisms so that I can overcome the situation. For example, if manpower turnover problem is there, either I'll try the already existing team members. If one for example a tester leaves, right, or a coder leaves, so I can assign their task to designer or the analyst who is free now. They have completed their work and they are free. So existing members can be given their roles and they can carry forward their work because they know everything about the project, so they can continue with the work, others work in the same project. Else, in the other team, project team, we have multiple teams in an organization. If any person is free there, right, he is a tester, our tester has left, I can involve that tester in my team and I can carry forward that work, right? So from the same team or from different team also. If this is not possible, then the last option is I'll try to go for a hiring process and hire a tester based on his skill and experience so that he can continue with the work. So I'll check whether all the technicalities required, technical skills required is present in a new hiree, and accordingly I'm going to hire it, though I have to pay more, because if somebody comes in the middle of the project and you require him, right, so definitely he is going to charge more. Right? So this is like we have certain mechanisms to overcome the risk which might occur, but see, this is what that somebody has left, and then you are going to deal with the situation, right? But if I say, what is bug prevention? So let's assume this is a risk. I want to prevent this risk. कि okay, once my project got hampered due to manpower turnover problem, the next time what I'll do is I'll try to prevent the situation that people doesn't leave or the team member doesn't leave. What I'll do is I'll try to give them good salary, uniform increments, performance appraisals time to time, extra benefits like HRA, DA, traveling allowances, and so many allowances are there, right? So there can be certain incentives could be given so that they are satisfied and they don't hunt for another job. You are trying to satisfy the team members present in your organization working on a project, right? So this is a prevention. So it's a good example to understand that bug prevention and bug discovery, right? Discover किया कि they may leave. Prevention क्या है? Next time से हम ध्यान रखेंगे कि we give proper benefits and increments to the team members who are working so they might not leave in future. So this is prevention. So let's see what is written here. Risk is the probability that the undesirable events will occur in the system. These undesirable events will prevent the organization from successfully implementing its business initiative. Thus, risk is basically concerned with the business perspective of an organization because it might hamper your business. If you are not able to complete the work and give it to the customer on time, ultimately, if it is delayed or it's a failure, ultimately customer will not buy your product and the entire resources or the effort or the time cost you have invested, that will be a waste. So business will come down definitely. So risk must be controlled to manage them with ease. Software testing may act as a control which can help in eliminating or minimizing a risk. So this is what is testing is basically behind dealing with the risk. It acts as a controller mechanism which can help to minimize this risk. Elimination is something not possible. People, how well you pay, how well benefits you provide to them, even then they leave, right? So minimizing, we have to actually minimizing it. Complete elimination is never possible. So thus manager depends upon software testing to assess them in controlling their business goals. So the purpose of software testing as a control is to provide information to management so that they can better react to this risk situation. So tester क्या कर सकता है? If he has identified something, he can timely, real-time basis पे वो information can be provided to the management team members that this is going on and this might happen, so they can devise certain strategy to deal with that situation actually. For example, testing may indicate that the software being developed cannot be delivered on time, or there is a probability that software priority bugs will not be resolved by the specified time. So time is the major factor we are considering here. With this advanced information, decision can be made to minimize this risk situation. What we can do if it is going to be delayed? So we can hire new persons or we can involve extra members from different projects so that we can work and complete it on time. Or you can increase the number of hours in a day in order to complete your work. So you have to devise. If you are not going to work upon this or focus on this issue, ultimately it will be delayed or it will be failure actually. So hence it is the tester's responsibility to evaluate business risk such as cost, time, resources and critical features of your system being developed and make them a basis for testing choices. Testers should also categorize the level of risk after their assessment like high risk, moderate risk and low risk. I said manpower turnover problem is a priority. Priority I mean is high risk. It will come true and it will impact your project. So that is high. But if it is a minor risk like I have assumed that double clicking on an icon on my desktop will open that folder and mistakenly I single click it. So the folder doesn't go, opens up, but it doesn't have any severe impact. Next time you double click it, it will get open. That is a minor risk. So why to waste time in resolving such type of risk? Better focus on those risks which may lead to failure. That has higher you can say probability and severity actually. So, and this analysis becomes the basis for testing activity. So, risk management becomes the long term goal for software testing. So, I guess the points are clear, right? So, risk factors includes cost, time, resources, and critical features, and this is what the sequence of activity is. Now, coming up to post implementation goals, the first one is reduced maintenance cost and improved testing process. So, what do you mean by reduced maintenance cost? The maintenance cost of any software product is not its physical cost actually. As the software does not wear out, you don't have to replace any component in software. It is working, right? So, what is actually the maintenance cost in a software product? Is its failure due to errors. If certain error comes in, the system is not going to perform as desired. It is going to fail, right? So post release errors are costlier to fix as they are difficult to detect. Thus, if testing has been done rigorously and effectively, then the chances of failure are minimized and in turn the maintenance cost is reduced. So, I have told you is maintenance cost is something which is related to coding and testing. If that is done properly during the development phases, so in turn you can reduce the effort, cost and time required in the maintenance. And the last one is improved testing process. A testing process for one project may not be successful and there may be scope for improvement. Therefore, the bug history and the post-implementation results can be analyzed to find out snags in the present testing process, that is loopholes you can say, or the flaws which can be rectified in future project. Thus, the long-term post-implementation goal is to improve the testing process for future projects. So that is continued surveillance or testing, you say. You keep on doing it, enhancing your process to get a better result, a quality product, right? So these are the basic, you can say, the key goals of software testing, which is categorized into three. Quickly summarizing it: the short term or the immediate goals, long term goals, and post implementation goals. So go through it once, and in case of any difficulty, kindly ask in the discussion class. Thank you all.